All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing my screen with you because I have a few things to show you. This is our lesson today. We have a lot to do. So you only have one or two other things left to do for language arts after this lesson, but this will be about a half hour of your lesson, maybe 20 minutes. All right, I took attendance. I'm going to share my screen because I want you to see something fun from yesterday that Audrey shared with me. Yesterday was election day, and Audrey sent me a great little message with this picture. Do you see? That's her dog Brutus, and her dog Brutus has a sticker that says that he voted yesterday. So I wanted to share that with you because I love that her dog voted, and I really appreciated her letting me know what was going on in her life yesterday. So you guys, I love it. Sophia sent me a lot of pictures when her sister got married, and I loved seeing those. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and come back to me. Now, I would recommend to you right now, you might wanna adjust your view. So when you go to the top right corner and adjust your view so that you see mostly me, because I'm gonna be showing my text, and that way you're focused on my teaching, and I'll still be able to see you. I'm gonna be seeing what you're doing today, and everybody's gonna, there's gonna be a chance for kids to share too today. So you have to be participating in the lesson. If you're participating in the lesson today, you don't have to submit your BDA. The kids who missed it today will have to submit a picture of their BDA. All right, so if you need to, adjust your screen right now. Remember, if you have a question, you need to raise your hand and hold it up. And if I don't answer, you might need to put in the chat that I have a question. All right, if you don't have a highlighter today, you can use your pencil to circle words you don't know. That's what we're gonna use our highlighter for. Brayden, is your question about the work we're doing right now?
Yeah, when we go back, when we're done with the meeting, like, if I don't participate, will I be able to read the story?
Yeah, you still have to do the work that's for today if you don't do it during this lesson.
So
yeah.
You're gonna, okay.
Okay.
Just making sure.
I want you here though. I want you here though. All right, so we started our new unit on government and action, and on Monday we had a question, how does the government influence the way we live? And a lot of you shared your comments about if we didn't have the government. Here are some of your responses. A lot of you said we would be in trouble because there weren't rules. It would be dangerous around where we live. Some of you, I remember Zachary even knew that a lot of people get help from the government for their housing and their food. So that's one way the government influences. I loved reading your ideas in that discussion, and hopefully you take the time to read what your classmates also share in those discussions. During this unit, we're gonna have at least one discussion a week. So once you add your comments, you get to see your classmates' comments, and you can even reply to your classmates' comments to give them a compliment, to say, I agree with you, to ask them a deeper question. So when we have those discussions, you can do that. All right, let's open up our text to page 6. Open your text up to page 6, and we're gonna pretend that we're in the classroom. And I'm talking you through these, and we're gonna practice what good readers do when they start a new story. So give me a thumbs up when you're on page 6. Let me know you're ready to go. Give me that thumbs up. All right, Osiris, are you ready? Are you on page 6? Michael's ready. Ariel and Zach are ready. Kayla's ready. Lots of people here. John, Gavin, they're all ready. All right. The first thing we always do is we preview the text. It gets your brain going. It's what good readers do because it gets your brain ready to read. And when you're thinking about what you're going to read, you're going to understand it better. So right away, we notice this, the first town meeting. That's a text feature. It's a heading. In this case, it's the title of this text. And underneath it, it has other dark text that says, an excerpt from the people of Sparks. Well, excerpt, that word means it's a shorter section of text. So the People of Starks is a pretty thick book. It's like this big from a series called The City of Ember. This is just a short snippet of that big book. What other features can we preview on these 2 pages? Raise your hand. What other features, text features, can we preview on this text? What do you see? Henry, you mute and tell us. What can we preview?
Actually, Mr. Marco, I'm 7 minutes late because I was caught up doing something and I didn't know what was going to be.
Oh, okay. I am so glad you're here, buddy. Just get caught up. Get your materials out and we'll be good. I am so glad you're here, okay? Boys and girls, Dylan, what are we going to preview? Can you see it? Dylan, what is on this page, buddy? You can unmute yourself.
Can't really see the words.
Not the words. We're not talking about the words because we're not reading yet. Look at page 7. What can you preview on page 7? Everybody look at page 7. Jude, what do you see? Are you on page 7, Jude? Okay, what do you see there, buddy? A picture, right? This is quite an illustration. I'm going to model for you previewing an illustration. So look at the illustration on page 7. On page 7, I see that there's a really rundown building and it has holes in the roof, and I see people camping and sleeping. And, ooh, look, up in the tower. Up in the clock tower, I see 3 people with a light on having a meeting. So I might start thinking about, I wonder why all these people are there and camping, and what happened to that building, and the windows are all boarded up. Does anybody want to make a prediction about maybe what has gone on in this story? Think about it. Can you make a prediction? Get thinking about it. All right, I'm giving everybody some think time. What can you predict about this picture that you see here? Raise your hand if you want to share your prediction. All right, Gavin, you unmute and share what you think. Nice and loud, Gavin. You got to shout it. Yeah, oh, that's a good prediction. He said, I think the building might be abandoned because of something that happened there. What could have happened to make it look like this? This place looks terrible, and these people are living there, and it looks dreary and really rough. Go ahead, Gavin, you want to continue? Oh, you're muted, buddy. What do you think could have happened to make this place look that terrible? Oh, sure. Maybe a natural disaster could have happened that ruined the building, an earthquake, a tornado, a bad storm, or maybe something like a war, right? Like a war or a battle. Maybe something happened. And how about those people up in the tower? I'm going to make the prediction that the people up in the tower are having the first town meeting. The title is the first town meeting, and I see people having a meeting. Let's turn to page 9. There's something we can preview on page 9 too. On page 9, we see another picture, and I made the connection that this is the men and women having that first town meeting up in the tower. It matches what I see in the picture on page 7. And I noticed that they look, what can you infer about how they look? Look at the people in this picture. What clues do you have about how they are feeling, what they are thinking? Look at that picture. What could you infer about that? Aubriana, you unmute your microphone and tell me what you think. How do they look? Do you know? Unmute down in your bottom left corner, honey. I can't hear you. You got to be loud, loud, loud. Yeah, they do. They look kind of stressed out and worried and upset. So we already think that it looks like maybe there was a war or a natural disaster, and now we have these people having a meeting who look worried and upset. All right, the one last thing I want to point out to you is in the top right corner of page 9. I want you to point to the words science fiction. Find the top right corner of your text. Your eye should be on your text. And point to the word science fiction. So I know that this story is make-believe. It's not true because it's fiction. And the fact that it's science fiction, I can tell that it is, it like takes place in a different world. It's not realistic. It's gonna seem different or magical. All right. Oh, I see that a lot of you commented that maybe there was a fire, maybe these people were homeless. Great inferences you're drawing from the picture. All right, now it's time to put your thinking down on your BDA. We did a BDA with the story Dr. DeSoto. Now we're gonna do it about the first town meeting. I already have the title in there for you. Now I need you to take some time to write 2 questions in the top 2 before reading boxes. So you can use words like I predict, I wonder. You can use any of these question words to get you started. All right? I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. I want you to write your 2 questions and then hold them up and show them for me. I have a list. I'm going to be checking off who's participating. All right. My timer is going. You have 2 minutes to write 2 before, during questions.
I didn't hear what you said.
You need to use your BDA and write 2 before reading questions about this story. You could start with I wonder, who. You know, use some of those question words, Braden, that are right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna use some.
Yeah, like I might write, I wonder what happened to the building, or I wonder why people are sleeping outside. Okay, get thinking. You got 2 minutes. Get writing right now. Okay, thanks for letting me know. We just previewed the first pages of page 6 through 9 in the book, and the kids are writing their own pre-reading, before reading questions in the top 2 squares on the front page of the packet. So you should be writing your questions. All right, Erin, hold it nice and still. Maybe I can read what you wrote. Okay, it's a little hard for me to read. I can see that you wrote though. I think that on Zoom you're just too tiny. Okay, that's 2 minutes. Some of you got a late start. I'm gonna do 30 more seconds. Okay, Camden's got some written. I'm gonna be calling on some of you who have not participated before in Zoom meetings to share your questions today. so that everybody gets a turn. Okay, show me your questions when you're done. I got it, Jude. Good job, Lily. Thank you, Henry. Got it, Morgan. Good job, Kayla. Yes, Leon.
Mr. Marco, I just had to write one more word. Can you see what I wrote?
Yes, I can. Thank you. All right, Jacob, I've got it. Jacob, you don't need to be using the one from the booklet. You have a paper one in the packet, buddy, so you can use the one right in your packet. You can keep using that one for right now, but it might be easier to write on paper. All right, John Murphy's got his done. Good job. Aiden, you're good. Thank you, David. Michael's got his. Michael, did you write 2 questions in 1 square? Give me a thumbs up. Did you write 2? Great. Okay, Aubriana's got some written. Great, thank you. Good job, everyone. All right, I would like these kids to share their questions. Madison, would you share one of yours? You have to unmute yourself. You know what? I'm going to put my headphones on because I can't hear you guys when you talk. Maybe if I put these on, I'll be able to hear better. Okay. Can you still hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Madison, would you read yours again? Still not working. All right. I couldn't hear it all in the headphones. So I'm back to this. All right, thanks, Madison. I would like, Morgan, would you share one of your questions, your before reading questions? Nice and loud, you gotta be loud. Are they poor? Good, I'd wondered the same thing. All right, I want Camden, share one of yours. Okay. All right. One more. Something different than everybody shared. Erin, go ahead. Yeah, why are they sleeping? Okay. I think we're going to start reading now. So I want you to have your highlighter in your hand. Okay, put your pencil down. I want you to be sitting up where you are. And I want you to have your text. And I want you to have your highlighter in your hand. And if as I read to you, we read a word that you don't know what the word is, I want you to highlight it, okay? I want you to highlight that word. I'm gonna start on page 6. You can use your finger to follow along with the text. Your eye should be on the text, not on me. Okay, here we go. The First Town Meeting, an excerpt from The People of Sparks by Jean Deprue. The People of Sparks is the second title in the Books of Ember science fiction series. The book is set in a not-so-distant future in which war has devastated Earth. It tells the story of a group of people who have emerged tired and hungry from an underground city. They have left their city because they can no longer produce electricity there. They find the settlement of Sparks where they are welcomed and fed. But the town's resources, ooh, that's one of our vocabulary words. The town's resources are limited. How long will the townspeople let the newcomers stay? In this excerpt from part 1 of the book, a town meeting is held to decide their fate. Dun, dun, dun. So far, we know this. We know there was a war. So now we know what happened to the building, right? There was a war. We know these people used to live underground and now they are homeless. Aiden or Leon, you were right, they are homeless. We know that now the people in the town are trying to decide if they can stay and how they're going to take care of them or if they're going to take care of them. This gets me thinking about how the government helps us. This is how this is going to connect to our central question. Let's read. I'm going to read. Your eyes on your text, please. Sit up, lean in. You got it? Paragraph 1. While Lena slept, the 3 town leaders were holding a meeting. They sat at a table in the tower room of the town hall, which looked out over the plaza. Mary's hands were clasped tightly in front of her. Ben scowled. Look up at my face. Scowled. Make a scowl. Good, you know what that word means, scowled. His gray eyebrows bunched together. That's a good context clue. Scowled, his eyebrows bunched together, deepening the 2 lines between them. Wilmer pulled nervously on one ear and looked from Mary to Ben and back to Mary. They can't stay here, said Mary. There are too many of them. Where would we put them? How would we feed them? Yes, said Wilmer, but where can they go? No one spoke. They had no answer for that question. Outside the settlement of Sparks, the empty land stretched for miles in all directions. They could go up to the Pine Gap, said Wilmer, maybe. Mary snorted, shook her head. Don't be ridiculous, she said. That's at least 2 weeks' walk away. How could these feeble people travel that far away? How could they carry enough food with them? Where would they get enough food unless we emptied our storehouse and gave them everything? Wilmer nodded, knowing she was right. The people of Sparks knew of only 3 other settlements, and they'd heard from the roamers that those places were smaller and poorer than Sparks. Their inhabitants wouldn't want extra mouths to feed either. Okay, eyes on the text. We're on paragraph 8. The 3 of them gazed out the window and down at the moonlit plaza, filled with strange people from a city under the earth. 400 of them, with no food, no possessions to speak of, and nowhere to go. All right, I'm going to stop there. I want you to go to your text, to your packet, and I want you to write 1 during reading questions. You can use any of these words to start your question if it helps you. You can ask a question about what's happening in the story. You can ask a question about what a word means. All right, Jacob, you have a question to share, or you need me to explain something? It doesn't have what? No, on your packet, honey, you can write right on this. You don't need the plastic for this. Just write right on this paper today. Okay? All right, hold up your question when you're done. I set the timer. 1 question, so we're just going to take 1 minute. What questions were you thinking as you were reading or listening? Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Kayla. Hold it still, Henry. Okay, thank you. You got it, Jacob. Thanks, Lily. Jacob, I would use a pencil. Don't use your dry erase paper on the real paper or pencil. Marker. Oh my goodness, I can't say the right words. Thanks. Oh, good one, Jake. Good one, Jude. All right, you're really thinking, Emmett. Thank you, Leon. That's a long question. All right, you're thinking it, Ryan. Good job, Camden. Thanks, Madison. Thanks, David. You got it, Morgan. All set. Lily, can I see yours? Can I see your question, Lily? Hold it up. Show me that you wrote one. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Dylan. All right. We're going to do just 2 people are going to share their during reading questions because we're going to write another one after a page. So this time I'm going to have Braden share, and then I'd like to have Lily share her question. So Braden, unmute and tell us your during reading question.
If they stay, where will they live?
Okay, if they stay, where will they live? That was a similar question that the 3 people at the table were asking each other. Okay, Lily, share yours. Unmute it, honey, in the corner. There you go.
When was the war?
When was the war? Right, we don't know if the war was just happened or if it was a long time ago. That building looks like it's been damaged for a long time, so we don't know that. That's a good question. All right, let's keep reading. Turn to page 8. We have about 5 more minutes and we'll be done with our lesson. Page 8, paragraph 9. Eyes on the text, highlighter in your hand. What I fail to understand, said Ben, is why this particular misfortune has happened to us. He paused, looked into the air to his left, and frowned. This was a habit of his. He seemed to need a pause and a frown every now and then to put together his thoughts. Wilmer and Mary had gotten used to waiting through these pauses. I don't see that we deserve it, Ben went on after a few seconds, having labored as diligently as we have, and just when we are starting to prosper, at last, after so many years of, well, adversity is a mild word for it. Adversity, I highlighted that word, that's a big word, I don't know it. The others nodded. I'm on paragraph 10, eyes on your text. The others nodded, thinking of the hard years. There had been winters when people shivered in tents and ate chopped up roots and shriveled nuts. There had been years of drought and plagues, of tomato worms and devastating crop failures that meant people had nothing to eat for months but cabbage and potatoes. There had been times when people had to work so hard to stay alive that they sometimes died just from being too tired to go on. No one wanted to go back to those times. So what do we do, said Mary. If they can't stay and they can't go, what is the right thing to do? The others sat silent. Well, there's the pioneer, said Wilmer, as a temporary solution. True, said Ben. All right, I'm going to stop there because I don't know if you have a question, but he said there's the pioneer, and that's a solution. That gets me thinking about what I'm reading. I want you to write your second question for the BDA. Fill in the second square on the middle part of the page. Write your second question. Once you write it, hold it up for me. Okay. Good job. John, I'm wondering the same thing. Okay, thank you. Oh, Addison's wondering the same thing as John. Okay. I think Jacob is too. Thank you, Lily. Henry's wondering the same thing. What's the pioneer? Okay, thank you, Jude. Good job, Camden. Thank you, Aaron and Ariel. Okay, Leon, thank you. Good job, Kayla. Zachary, hold it still, bud. All right, thank you. Thank you, Morgan. All right, 6 more seconds. Trandon, are you wanting to share yours? Your question? We'll have Trandon and Henry. The time is up. If you're still writing, keep writing your second question. Trandon, you want to share yours? And then Henry can share his. Go ahead and unmute. Oh, real loud. You got to shout like you're out on the playground. Come closer. Okay, could anybody hear Trandon? I could not. Trandon, if you or Mom could type it into the chat, I'll share your question. While Henry shares it, you type yours in. Okay, go ahead, Henry.
What's the pioneer?
What's the pioneer? A lot of people had that question. Was that yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, in the picture,
Uh-huh.
I see the word pioneer.
Oh, good. You took my next thing and you're thinking. I love it. Did anybody see that? In the picture, It says pioneer here. Look at the picture on page 9. It says pioneer, so that tells me the pioneer must be a building. Okay, let's see if we can make this connection. A building called the Pioneer that would give a place for the people to stay. So maybe you could think about what the Pioneer could be. Anybody have an idea of what it could be? What could the Pioneer be if it's a place people could stay? Addison, what do you think? Yeah, like maybe a motel. All right, let's finish the story and then you're going to ask your last 2 questions to end it up. Page 9. A good thought, said Mary, and Wilmer beamed. So what about this, Mary went on. We'll let them stay in the Pioneer. We'll give them water and food. We do have some extra in the storehouse. In exchange, they work. They help in the fields. They help with building. They do whatever there is to do. We have to teach them how. As far as I can see, they know nothing. After a while, when they're stronger, when they know better how to get along, they can move on. They can set up their own village somewhere else. All right, that's our excerpt about how the government is influencing lives here. I want you to ask your 2 after reading questions. You can say, I wonder, or what, or when. You could ask a question to describe something further, like a character. Describe Wilbur or Wilmer. Okay, Brayden, take your pencil, Brayden. We're doing the bottom 2 here. Finish her up. When you have your last 2 questions, show me your work. Then we'll finish up. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. I'm going to stop my video. You need to finish your 2 questions and submit me a photo of your page if you did not participate.